Are you an editor or VFX artist for DaVinci Resolve and you notice there's just a lack of tools? Don't worry. I have 20 tools for DaVinci Resolve to get you started in editing really nice content in DaVinci Resolve. These tools range from a beginner to advanced in terms of who made it and who can use it. So don't worry, we have something here for you. All of these were submissions from my Discord, so if you want to check that out, down in the description below, you can check out what we talk about all the time down there. We're a bunch of developers always talking about DaVinci Resolve, so if you want to learn more about DaVinci and learn about the inner workings, go check us out. We're starting off with a banger on this one. We have Speed Ramp Seamless Transitions by Pixfix. This guy has Envato content that he sells, and it is really, really nice stuff. Let's go and drag it in from over here. So if you can find it over here in your effects panel. You can find it down here in Video Transitions, Pixfix. This one right here, you drag it in between two clips and you can click on it and it gives you a bunch of controls. If you play through it though, you're gonna see it doesn't do anything on its own. You have to tell it what to do. Let's go and take a look at our controls here. We can disable the speed ramp if we wanted to, but there's really nothing happening, so you don't have to worry about that. If you look, you can also enable a bunch of different transforms and effects you can do really easily. So let's just say we want to enable the zoom. What's that gonna look like? If we hit zoom here, we're gonna see it just transitions seamlessly between the two in a nice zoom effect. Super, super clean. Let's also enable maybe a shake, maybe a rolling, maybe a real blur. Now if we just play through this just like this, we get a really cool looking transition with very, very little work, and it's very customized. You can change how much it zooms, you can change all these other settings and everything. You can enable the fake motion blur for rolling if you wanted to disable the real motion blur. And besides that, you also have all these other effects, like a glitch effect, this, lens distortion, displacement, tilt, all these crazy things. And if we just play through this now, it's probably not even gonna play, but we can see it's a super cool, crazy transition for whatever you need in any video. I think my favorite feature is if you sit on the actual clip and then turn on and off all these buttons, you can actually see their logo pop up for a split second. It's super, super cool. We're gonna jump past Jake Whipp's editor collection right now because we're gonna talk about that a little bit further down. But just take a look at this. Jake Whipp has a bunch of amazing stuff for all these different sections for his editor collection. So I'll just go ahead and point that out right now, but we're going to talk all about it down in the actual effects section. But we can see he's got a pan and a zoom that does really, really nice transition. But then we also have this one by another smaller guy who's called Extracted. This guy, also, you may just see him as No Name on a lot of Discord servers. I think also he's like that on YouTube too. He has a bunch of free macros, scripts, and a bunch of other crazy stuff that you're able to download. But we can see we have Resolve, which I think we maybe have this in DaVinci now. But we can see a really nice customizable Resolve, super nice and clean. And we have a bunch of these other options right here, like a shake dissolve, a spin zoom, and a roll. Super nice stuff. Let's look down here in the titles now. We can see we have Magic Toolkit. This is Magic Animate, but we're going to save that until effects because this is another huge pack that has stuff in every single category. So I'm going to talk about that all at the same time. But then we jump down here to Sleeveless Studios. This is a free pack by Sleeveless. They're a brand new developer for macros who just started learning after watching some of my content. So shout out to you. And also, if you're learning new stuff from my content and making tools from it, drop down the links to those down in the comments below because I'd love to get your stuff also featured in the future videos. But if we look, these are some of the more beginner stuff that Sleeveless did. This stuff is very early on in what they were doing. They were just trying out at first the beta for the new macro creator before it was actually released. And now they've just been using the full version after it's released here. So they're still getting used to the tool and how to use the tool effectively and set everything up effectively. So some things aren't, high quality yet. Sleeveless knows what they're doing, and I know that they're gonna pull out some amazing stuff soon. But if we pull this into here, we're gonna see we have a really nice looking title right here. It just flashes the text in here. It has a nice shadow. And we can see it has the drop down where you can access all the text. You can access the shading, shadow settings and everything. It has glows. You can see the modifier controls, and also he has a credit page that has just his little icon here, which is a little low quality, but we can ignore that. That's a little side thing that's not even important. But we can see a bunch of these tools do need to have custom fonts, but thankfully in 19 it does tell us what kind of fonts they need. We've got a bunch of crazy stuff still we can take a look at, including this ink title, which just has some awesome stuff going on here. We're also going to ignore the spelling because, when you're in a hurry, Who cares if you spell things wrong, right? These aren't really for sale. This is just him early testing. So try them out, give him some feedback, and support him all you can. Another thing from whip templates here, we'll just jump past it for now. We're gonna jump down here to the generators, down to the Mr. Justin Edit section where we have Paper Animator. I'm a little bit guilty. This is a little bit of self-promotion at the same time. I actually helped design Paper Animator, at least an update for it. Justin created the actual Fusion comp and everything. I just updated some things in the Fusion comp and for the macro itself, so it's a little bit of self-promo for this. I still think it's a really sweet tool. So by default, there's the generator version, which you can drag on your timeline just like a clip, and you have all these sweet controls. This is the pro version, so you have to pay a little bit of money for it. There's also a light version, which just doesn't have the animations on and off. But if we look at the pro version, if we look right here, we are able to drag in a clip up here at the top. And you can actually drag in green screen clips. So we can drag in this little GIF of Patrick on his little cycle, and it will fill in here. It doesn't show up for some reason, but we can see we have a little Patrick on here. We can increase the size of this. We can increase just the clip size if we wanted to, just so we can have the different, kind of style there. And if we play through it, we can see it's still animating him, and it animates the paper a little bit. Pretty sweet. We can also enable an animation for the actual coming on of the clip. So we can make it open up like a flat piece of paper, like this. Open up, folding out, super easily, super fast. Or we can make it like a paper airplane or, crumpled paper, whatever. Super easy to toggle between them all because it's just these easy buttons right here. You can also just turn that off and bam, we're back to normal. There may be some flashing, that's just Fusion being Fusion. It looks really cool, and we can adjust all sorts of crazy settings with this. Super easy stuff. I really recommend getting this. The pro version is really where it's at. There's also an effects version of this, so you can apply this directly onto an image or a clip onto your timeline, so make it even easier for you to use. Okay, now we're on to the effects section of the edit page effects. We're gonna see we have the Annihilator section. This is another user in my Discord. I'm just going to drag in a logo from up here so we can get a good example of this, and I'm just going to bring in the effector. This is a really nice tool that allows you to do a little bit of either recoloring of anything. You can just turn this on and turn on some recoloring here. We can see it's doing a little bit of like color influence, not like fully like overlaying a color onto it. We can also disable that as well if we want to. We can turn on a grain effect for the clip. And I think it maybe even expands outside the bound. No, it's just inside the clip. And I believe, yep, that's animated along with it. Turn on the stop motion effect. If there's motion, you can adjust how many frames is actually being displayed. Adjust a bunch of other settings. Super cool stuff. You got overlays. You got half tone effect. Super cool stuff. Lots of great stuff for like AMV edits and stuff like that. For sure. We also have selective glow, which I think is also similar to this. If we come into here and maybe increase the threshold, change a couple settings. I don't know, it doesn't look like it's very visible right now. This one I haven't been able to like get working quite right. Maybe I'm just not using it right. Maybe there's an option I need to click before using it. Maybe I should have watched the video before we're using this tool. But I really don't see much of any differences. There's a keyer, so I wonder if you're able to do this on like a green screen. Can I bring in this guy? Can I green screen this guy or something? I don't know. We're trying things live right now. Can I key this? Pick screen color. Oh, okay. I can select a color and oh, that's actually amazing. So you can select a specific color and actually make it that glow. Okay, that's way cooler than I thought it was gonna be. Okay, let's try this again. So we can grab this, pick screen color, and grab that, and it's gonna grab like a general area of selection. You can like narrow it down what this looks like. Maybe not. I don't know. Don't look at me. I don't know anything. You can adjust all these other settings, a pre-blur, a balance. Okay. And since you're kind of just like keying this and then glowing the key, that makes total sense. This is a really cool tool. Definitely check this out. I believe this is also free. I think a lot of the stuff we have today is free. Okay, now that we're in the effects section, we're actually going to talk about both the whip templates and the Magic Toolkit. We're going to first talk about Magic Animate, but we're also going to talk about Magic Zoom. So Magic Animate has a really cool tool, which is just Magic Animate. This is obviously Mr. Alex Tech's work. We can come into here, enable whip, which is just a slide. When it can come in, it starts automatically by coming in from the left, going out to the right. And essentially it's just a really easy edit page animation tool that allows you to do in and out animations without like any actual work. You just click a couple buttons and it does it for you. And then you can adjust these settings as you need. Super nice. I wish there was a quick custom swap to like a different direction really easily. But that's more of just a nitpick of my personal preferences of how I would like this to work. You can like disable either ins or outs, or do all of them. You can enable a shadow. You can enable and disable the animation. You can enable the motion blur, a bunch of other settings in here. Magic Animate also has a saver option. With this one, this is a just basic saver feature, but if you actually use the saver version of the Magic Animate, you also have the admin tab, which will disable any controls you're not actually using. So it'll be as fast as possible when you save it out as an actual macro. Super, super cool. I don't need to sell this too much. Magic Animate is very well known, but I do just want to point out there are tons of things in all these other sections that you can just check out and try, and they do a bunch of crazy animations with a bunch of different effects and a bunch of different like easy to customize things. Super great stuff. Let's move on. Let's look at Magic Zoom really fast. Magic Zoom, similar to the Magic Animate, uses that like no keyframe animation sort of like animation thingy. If we come down here, look for regular old Magic Zoom Pro right there. We can also just get the effects, but if we put in Pro, we can do a bunch of crazy zooms. By default, it just kind of zooms it up and then zooms it back out. It's kind of designed for something more like this on like an actual screen. You can just zoom into a section super easily, and then when it's out at the end, it just goes back out. You can also switch it to do multi jump section. You can change it to be a constant zoom. Instead of starting out really small, it just slowly increases, and you can like increase the constant zoom to a number and like watch it move over time. Super crazy. You can make it static if you wanted to for some reason, and this is more of like when you're doing a multi-zoom situation, watch his stream, and I think he maybe did a video on this too to get more information about this. It's a really, really advanced tool that has a lot of crazy features, and you may have to watch this video a few times because there's a lot of stuff in this. Like I mentioned before, Paper Animator has an FX version as well. You just drag it onto a clip and it creates a little outline for it. Super easy. We're going to take a look at something from Shark's editing pack. Shark has all of their stuff in a collection of like 101, downloadable, buyable things. And on top of just the macros, I think they also have a bunch of overlays, maybe sound effects, and a bunch of other crazy stuff that they're putting together in that pack as like over time. So go check it out. It's definitely worth it. Some of the stuff is easier to understand than others, but they're definitely getting better. So don't worry, they're honestly awesome. They've been learning a lot, and I think that their tools are fantastic. So let's take a look at some of these. Some of these you do need fuses from, I believe, probably the Reactor, or you can Google these fuses online to try to find them in different places. But if you find something that doesn't need a fuse, like the bubbles right here, which is honestly a really nice tool, you can apply it to an effect and it'll just create this kind of bubble effect. This is sort of a niche use and definitely more of something that could be used in AMVs or maybe in just like a music video or something like that. Definitely a lot of these tools are more specialized for different things like AMVs or music videos. But we can see we have this help screen, which you can put at like the end of a YouTube video or at the very beginning of a YouTube video. Really just a lot of YouTube videos. Just at the beginning or end of a video just to help explain something a little further or to provide links or disclaimers or something. There's a lot of cool effects in here. I absolutely recommend checking it out. Now we come down here to Whip Templates Editors Collection. This is where the meat and potatoes are of this pack. The other sections have a lot of cool stuff, but this is where it really gets good. We have the Whip 3D camera, which as you can probably suspect, it's an animated 3D camera, which at the moment seems to not want to work with this clip, which is fine. It may work for a PNG. If we look, it gives us a nice simple animation in to a spot, and then it goes back out, or it doesn't even go back out at the end. Maybe if we stretch it out more. Yeah, no, it just zooms into a spot over time, which is great for showing off a spot on like a website or an image that you want to show off in a video. But we also have a really, really popular one, Whip Animate. This is similar to Magic Animate, but it's kind of Jake Whip's own take on it. It has a global animation engine, and then it has separated out animation types, which all by default use the global animation engine. But you can also unlink those animations and set their own lengths and different curves and set them between frames and seconds. Super, super easy. I'm actually using this sort of idea to build out my own sort of animation engine setup for my own macros in the future. We also have the Whip Blur, just kind of gives it a nice little blur effect. You can switch between a bunch of different versions of it to give different blur effects for, different situations. Then we also have Whip Cam, which just kind of puts your webcam in like the bottom right corner or top center or like wherever you want to put it. Super, super fast and easy. But you can see Jake Whip has a bunch of crazy stuff in this editor's collection. Tons more stuff in every single section. Highly recommend checking all this out. But down here we have X again. We have him giving us lots of crazy cool stuff for effects this time. We bring in shear, for example. We can shear our image super easily. If we want to, we can give it the RGB shift, a perturb, which seems to just like flash some lights around, which is great for music videos. Simple opacity. I taught this in a video. Super nice just to have that if you need it for an effect. Ecto, it's sort of like the same thing as having Proto from Patrick Sterling. And we have cartoon, which just gives it like a cartoon drawing effect. Super, super cool. Before we actually move on, I did forget one effect because it's not actually in its own folder, but we have Easy Effects by Sleeveless MTG. This is a great effect that you're able to put onto a clip or whatever you really want, and you're able to give it a bunch of different custom effects using my Anim Utility tool, which allows you to set up custom animations with no keyframes. So you can enable the size, and we can see it's going to just animate the size in. Again, it's similar to Magic Animate, but it's their own spin on things. It uses my tool right here, which, gives you the animation effects. But then you also have access to Glitch, which is another really cool effect, which just gives you a little bit of an extra kick to it. You can also change up and add a highlight to it, which just adds a little bit of a shine as it comes in. Super cool. And you can also change up all these other things like a shadow, a raise, a wobble, just to make it your own really cool, crazy effect as it comes in, to make it just that extra nice little touch. That's going to call it for the macros, but let's look at the script. I'm going to go and start out with this one from Annihilator. It is the clip color changer. This will just randomize the colors of each clip super fast. Let's go and put another PNG in here and try it one more time. If we randomize our colors here, we can see, yeah, it looks like it probably is just honestly randomized. Another thing from Extracted's collection of tools, we have some scripts of his, including a timer. This will actually time how long you're taking inside of a project and print the information to the console. So in a minute, we're going to see some new information pop into the console here. So I'm just going to keep talking and we'll just see it pop in. Okay, all these next effects are going to actually have to be opened up over here in the Fusion page. So if we come on up here to the workspace, scripts, we're going to see we have X Session, we have Motion Suite. This is a fantastic suite of effects that is really helpful. We can see they do a lot of different things over here in the console. But we can see it gives us a bunch of amazing tools. I'm not going to cover most of these because a lot of these are going to be able to be covered in X Session's videos on this. X Session literally shows you them using the tool with them voicing over with like an AI voice to help you explain what is actually going on. Because there's a lot of stuff in this tool. Not everything is super easy to understand just by looking at it. So definitely recommend go watching those videos. But this is probably the most advanced and most helpful tool for Fusion editors. Honestly, this is going to do a lot of work that you'd expect like a assortment of plugins to do from After Effects. First up, we can see Unpack. This is a really nice tool for those who use macros often. I'm going to just bring in my opacity node. This is just a brightness and contrast node, but put into an opacity node wrap. If we do unpack on this node, it gives us the group version of this, which, as I said, is just the brightness and contrast node. And it gives us an _1 version, but it gives us the exact same thing. So you're able to edit your nodes really quickly with this really nicely. There's a bunch of other effects on here. Once again, I won't talk about most of these, but I really do like the long shadow with this. You can bring in the long shadow right here, and if you have in a clip from your effects panel or from your media pool, let's just bring it in here and take a look at it on our media out. If we look at the actual long shadow, this thing looks really nice. And it's really easy to customize the location of it. You just move this around a little bit, and you have a really nice long shadow. You can also add in a bender tool, which will just take in whatever is before it and allow you to bend it. We can just start bending it right here, and we're able to see it starts bending it upwards. Then we can also change whatever angle it's bending on and change it side to side. This is really nice if we wanted to bring in, for example, a rectangle and wanted to just animate it to look really nice. We can bring in a rectangle right here. We can make it really tall. And you can just bend it really, really nicely to make it look really cool. This can be a really cool effect for a lot of different things. You can also create like mini macros with this as well, just by selecting some tools. You can refresh, get the active tools, you select them, get the controls from them if you want to, just like this, double click these, click them once to bring them into here. And you can like paste it into the comp really quickly, just like that if you wanted to. But that's just a taste of what Motion Suite has for you. There's a lot more stuff there behind the scenes. Next up, let's also take a quick look at another tool, let's just quickly animate something to show this one off. As we can see, we have 2 keyframes in here, and we just have it not really moving, but let's go ahead and change one of these values now. Let's just make it flatter. So we can see we have a nice little animation like this, but let's say we wanted to animate this, and we wanted to set up a curve really easily with this. Let's open her up. Let's go and just, set up a curve like this, set up our curves however we want. Maybe we want it to like bounce up first and then go back in. I don't know, whatever you really want. We can come on up here to Workspace, Scripts, Ease Copy, and this literally allows you to just create copies of your curves. If we wanted this curve to be a constant that we wanted to save, we can just save this as bounce smooth. I have no idea. We have to have our cursor between the two keyframes, and I'm also going to copy this just in case. We're then just going to save the ease, and then we're going to see it pop up in our list right here. We can then also just jump between any of our other ones, and then we can just apply that ease to this, and it will override what we have in here. If we play through it right now, we're going to see it has that new ease in here. We just jump to the custom elastic, put our cursor back, apply that, and we can see we have that new pop-in elastic, effect. Super, super nice stuff. And we can also then select one of them. Let's say we don't like bounce smooth, and we can also then delete the selected ease. And then bam, it's gone. It would be a crime if I did not mention Reactor as a whole. Reactor is a fantastic script by the people over on We Suck Less. They've made this great tool where you're able to actually upload your own scripts, plugins, comps, macros, whatever you want to this tool, and you're able to distribute it to anybody in the world who wants to download it for free. So we can see we actually have some stuff that I've applied onto here, including anim utility, and if we look up, we also have a flow character rigger in here, which is a simple character rigger I whipped up to display the actual exporting of the new macro creator. This is a really nice tool, but it really just allows you to get a bunch of tools that you're able to get for free super easily. Obviously, including XGlow, that is a fantastic one that everybody should get. This is just a better glowing effect that you're able to have super fast and easy, and a lot of people actually already have this. I don't recommend having this in a macro though, because generally you don't want the average user to have to get this if they don't want to have it. Let's quickly jump back over to the edit page really quickly, and I'm just going to show you and display another fantastic script that I love, and this time we're going to be jumping into another big creator, Snap Captions. This one I've also helped briefly on one of the more recent updates. If we come on up here to Workspace, Scripts, we have to go into Comp, and then we can find Snap Captions right here. We can see there is no subtitles and there is no text plus templates. Let's go ahead and close this for now. But let's go ahead and come on up here, Timeline, create subtitles from audio. Make sure you set everything up correctly however you want. I'm going to make this a little bit of a smaller caption amount, single line. Actually, let's go into double line, create that, wait for that to generate. It's probably going to take a little bit, but not too long since it's just a small clip. And we're already done, just like that. And I'm also going to then import a bin for Snap Captions. So I have a folder here just for all my bins, and I think we're just going to open up just the Snap Ultimate folder right here. This is actually Snap Ultimate from the Creators Pack for Snap Captions. This is a paid pack that Orson has that you're able to have a bunch of super easy to use, custom-made captions for you to use in all your projects. We can come on up here and we can see Snap Ultimate. This is just the simple template. However, Orson has created more versions of this that are even more customized, that do even more customized exact effects, like some super crazy Mr. Beast effects that you're able to see in the Creator Pack right now. But now that we have this bin in here that's inside the master bin, we can come on up here to Workspace, Scripts, where we open up our script from Comp down here. We can just see, do we want to convert any cases? Do we want to capitalize all words, all to uppercase, all to lowercase? I think how it is fine. And then we can also remove the punctuation. Do we want to remove any of these advanced settings, like remove all of them, remove just the commas, or remove just the quotes, remove the endings or just the other section? Or do you want to get even more advanced with it and it'll open up this advanced panel to remove a bunch of specific things instead of just those individual things? But I am okay with leaving all of mine on there. It will just fill gaps to 10, and we'll just save this as our options for next time. You can check this once, and these will be then the new defaults the next time you open it. This looks good. We can go ahead and press generate, and it will just generate over these captions we have generated right here. And once it is done, it will then disable this one and just let us use this really nicely. We did not customize this caption, but if we wanted to, we could have dragged this into here first. Customize this to however we wanted. We have our options down here. drag it back up here, and you can rename this to whatever you want, or rename this as well. And then this is going to work however you want it to every single time. These are only really available for Studio DaVinci, but there are workarounds you can find on Orson's Discord, so go check that out in his links. I want to show off a tool that is not quite working accurately for me right now, but I know works. I've seen it working. In fact, the video that I'm about to show you right now shows me looking at it working. But I wanted to show you another great tool that Orson is working on right now, which is called SnapPod. I have a pre-released version. This is not like an unreleased version. Other people have this. I've paid the full price and everything. I'm not being paid to say any of this. I just thought it would be fantastic to show you. But we can go and take a quick look at how SnapPod is looking really fast. We can come on up here to Workspace and go down to Workflow Integrations and open up SnapPod. This does not open up the exact same way as a regular script does. This is a workflow integration which actually uses HTML to build out the look of the actual UI. If we open this up, we can see it brings in a actually really pretty UI. If this is your first time opening it, it's going to ask you to authenticate with your license. Super easy to do that. You just put in your license, press authenticate, and it's all done. Now we can come on into here and set up our tracks. We can look into what our video track looks like. We have an Asher and an Orson. These are just the names of our tracks down here. We can actually change the names of these tracks to whatever we want, like blah, 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 blah. And we'll actually see it reflecting in here in real time. But we don't want that. We want this to just say Asher. So now if we have this saying Asher, it's going to say Asher, and we just want to link these two together. And then we also have this other camera, which we can see right here as like the combined camera of the two of us. We can then add a wide angle and then select that camera for video track 3 as that wide angle for the camera. Let's also remove any empty tracks because it's going to add these extra clips to this empty track above us. We have advanced settings down here, which is like cut frequency, cut timing, and we also like sound installation and all other settings like this. I have a preset for this right here, which is just my first preset, which we can load up right here, and it loads in all the settings. But we can also save it out really quickly right here with all these options. Once we're done, we can go and then press auto edit. Sit back, it'll export the audio from the actual deliver page, jump back into the edit page and start cutting up our clips really, really fast. And then it's going to finish off our timeline, and then it's just going to be done. For us though, it's not going to actually finish off the timeline. It's going to get a little bit of a premature ending. And it's also going to have a problem with setting up the two cameras. It's not going to look like this on the final version. This is meant to be the wide camera, and this is meant to be a mixture of the two of our cameras, but for some reason, it's being funny for me. Unexpected bugs will happen all the time. Don't worry, this will be fixed before the final release. They are really dedicated on making this a final product before they actually release it. Okay, I think that was about 20 packs that I wanted to show off. There was maybe one or two that I wasn't able to show off either because I don't have them for various reasons. They weren't working, or I maybe just forgot them, or they're lost in the sauce of all the other clips and everything in here, like effects, like these effects was. But I'm gonna have all the links that I was sent down in the description down below, and also check out everything down below of mine, because I have a few more honorable mentions. I just want to mention that I have a few tools of my own, including the new macro creator. It allows you to create macros, which is templates, presets, and stuff really quick and easy. I also have Flow Anim, which is also called Anim Utility. It is an animation plugin that allows you to animate things with no keyframes in the Fusion page, but it's a really nice tool that allows you to create templates and stuff for the edit page with like no hassle at all. No having to worry about using your keyframe stretchers and all the annoying stuff like that. Then I also wanted to show off and point out my effects manager. This is where you can do a lot of common effects. They're really nice like a layer menu to where it's really more like an effects panel on an actual older system like Premiere Pro or After Effects. Go and check all those out down in the description down below with all the other links. I'm going to have those all labeled down below, all those things listed out. Hopefully that's going to cover everything. Hopefully that's going to do it for today. If you like the video, go ahead and like it, because this took a while to put together and I did spend some money on the video, so I'd really appreciate some appreciation down there in the like button and in the comments. Let me know what tools you like to use, and go and drop your links down below as well, because I might also do another video in the future. Close to 1,000 subscribers. There might be a little secret project in the works to maybe make that a little bit of an interesting event for all of us involved. But okay, that's going to be it for me. Go and check all those links out down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'll see you. Happy animating!